Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And these dogs are wanting some attention right now. I brought all of the meditation, but I cannot believe that we're almost at the end of November. Doesn't it seem crazy? And we're like finishing up the magic book. Are you guys keeping up with it? Are you doing it? You better be. You better be. I'm like feeling so incredibly grateful for like everything in my life. And I think the action of practicing gratitude every single day as a result of that book is just unbelievable. I will say that if you haven't done it with us so far on this channel, that you can get it. It's available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or anywhere, I'm sure. You can probably get it on Kindle as well. And it's Magic by Rhonda Byrne. My copy is sitting over there with my notebook for it. I just gave my mother-in-law her copy yesterday that I ordered on Amazon. I was so excited. She was so excited. I got her a really special notebook from Target that says like practice kindness, like make gratitude lists or something. I don't know. It says all these things on there. It's really nice. And I was so excited to give her this stuff. And she was so excited to get it. And she was like, oh, I can't wait to practice this. So anyway, if you haven't started it, you're watching this video, I don't know, in June or something, you can do the magic book anytime you want. It's 28 days of gratitude, and it is fantastic. I'm loving it. So, all right, let's get into today's meditations. I just picked up, I have all of them. I have all the meditation books you could ever want and more. Anyway, but I picked up the two Melody Beatty ones. So let's, my reading glasses are over there. We'll have to hold the book out. See, it's November 28th today. Let's see. Okay, November, well, it's very recovery based. So should I read the one? Let's go to, let's go to the Journey to the Heart and see what Journey to the Heart is saying today. Tucker is over here climbing underneath the tables, and he is doing all kinds of adventuring, aren't you, buddy? All right, November 28th, back in self-love. This is probably a good one. The commitment to love ourselves, November 28th, back in self-love. The commitment to love ourselves may be a decision we only need to make once, but we may need to take frequent action to implement that choice. It's so easy to fall into that place of not loving and accepting ourselves, but it can become just as easy to decide to return to the place. We may need to do it daily, weekly, or whenever we begin a new part of our journey, especially a part that frightens or challenges us. What would feel good? What would bring healing? What would energize or comfort you? And what purpose is to be fulfilled by depriving yourself of that? However often we need to do it, we can return to the place of self-love. Each time we do it, it becomes easier. Each time we do it, we see the rewards of self-love, enhanced creativity, clearer decisions, a stronger connection to the divine, and a more fulfilling connection to the world around us. When we love ourselves, it becomes easier to correct our mistakes, admit our wrongs, share our deepest feelings, and love others. Our spirit dances, thrives. Self-love energizes us. It attracts more love. The universe, see, gratitude right there. The universe responds directly and immediately to our choice to love ourselves. Accept yourself. Love yourself just as you are. Your finest work, your best moments, your joy, peace, and healing come when you love yourself. You give a great gift to the world when you do that. You give others permission to do the same, to love themselves. Revel in self-love, roll in it, bask in it as you would the sunshine. I think it's such a great meditation, you know. I think for a really, really long part of my life, the majority of my life, I really struggled with not loving myself. And I can honestly say today that there are things that I would like to work on about myself, but I truly do love myself. And why shouldn't I? You know, like, this is the only life that I have. And, you know, if I don't love myself, then how can I possibly love all these other people around me? Because I can't truly understand love, right? Especially if I'm constantly criticizing myself and putting myself down. Like, that's not self-love. That's not words of love. That's not words of affirmation. And, you know, I think for a really, really long time, I had this just really negative tape in my head that just went around and around and around and around, like on a record player, right? You know, the tape on a record player. You know what I mean, right? It was just this song that played in my head of, you know, you're not worthy of love. You're not worthy of good things. You're not worthy of this. And, you know, it just constantly, you know, if you were only this, if you were only that, if you were only this, cutting myself down, comparing myself to other people. It was this tape that ran in my head. And one day I realized, you know, what's the point? What's the point in putting myself down over and over and over again, you know? And this is kind of strange, but I remember going to my high school reunion, my 20 year. I went to my 10 and I went to my 20 year. And I was really nervous about going to my 20 year. And my husband, Alex, went with me. And I remember going to it, and I was very worried about, like, comparing my life to other people, and that they would be, like, so far, you know, ahead of me, and, you know, their lives looked perfect, and, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I got there, and so many people were intrigued with my life. So many people were like, oh, this is so cool that you guys do this, and it's so cool that you guys do that, and, you know, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And what I realized was that my life, those things about me, my journey, is specific to me, right? And I had a friend of mine a couple years ago say that you always lose by comparison. I've talked about that on here a lot. It's so true, you know? But, like, I think if you look at the world around you, you know, and you are very much a lovable creature of this world. And you have to allow yourself to be open to that. And when you allow yourself to be lovable, and when you allow yourself to love yourself, then you're attracting more love. You're going to attract people that care about you, that love you, that take care of you. You're going to attract more love, you know, in this universe around you, you know? I think also, you know, it's hard because for me, I grew up with parents that they used the word I love a lot. And my parents were, you know, huggers and, you know, just very affectionate. I had a family of, you know, people that were just very kind and compassionate and loving. But when I went to school, I was surrounded by people that constantly told me that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worth it, that I was a loser, and that, you know, nobody wanted to be around me. And the fact that, like, I didn't have any friends, you know? I didn't have anybody that wanted to spend time with me or be around me. And it was hard. It was really, really hard because inside I believed, right? Like, if I was good enough, then they would. And so I constantly I think from, like, elementary, like, part of junior high, it kind of stopped somewhere along the way. I kind of became immune to it, or I don't know, I think numb is a better word. Not necessarily just to the bullying, but to the feeling that I think for a long time, like in kindergarten and early junior high, and this is where it breaks my heart when people say, like, oh, get over it, or things that happened, this happened to you when you were 40 years ago. Well, those are things that happened to us in our fundamental foundation years, okay? They still have a great effect on us as we're adults. And, you know, and just in the last couple years of working with my counselor, he was like, you know, I really believe that you suffered some serious PTSD from bullying. And I had never heard anybody say that to me before, you know? This whole idea of where's it coming from next. And it was the first person that had really, you know, validated for me, like, that really understood it, I think, on a deep root level of how painful it was that I went through. But when you have people telling you that you're worthless, right, that you're not any good, because a lot of you out there heard it in your homes, which is 10 times worse than what I had, you know? A lot of you heard it in your homes, or you heard it in the, you know, in what happened to you, you know? I mean, when you're living in horrible environments, it's like you don't feel lovable, you know? When you have people that are telling you that you're not lovable, you don't feel lovable. And so I think for a long time, I really tried to seek the approval of those people that didn't think that I was worth it. And then because I thought, like, this also went into my dating life as well. Like, I dated a lot of people when I was still actively using that, like, really treated me like subpar. They didn't treat me well at all. They called me names and things like that and treated me really horribly. But see, if I could get them to love me, if I could get them to accept me, and then they validated for me that I was a good person, right? It was the same as when I was growing up. I was seeking validation and acceptance from those people that didn't like me, instead of realizing that there were so many people out there that maybe did want me around, you know, that did like me. And I don't know, you know, I wish. Now, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of people that wanted to be around me at all, period. You know, I felt very, very alone. But when I got older, you know, there were. And instead of the nice guy that wanted to, like, you know, take me out on a date, and I wanted to date the wild child, you know, that was going to treat me like crap and call me names. Like, that to me was real attractive, you know? And if I would do anything, you know, to have them say I love you, or, like, you know, like, you mean the world to me, and none of them ever did. None of them ever, surprise, none of them ever did, you know? And then when I got sober, I started realizing, you know, like, maybe I deserve to be treated a little bit better. You know, maybe I am a child of God. God, and I deserve to be, you know, loved like everybody else. And so I started looking at the people that treated me a little bit nicer, that actually had interest in me, like, you know, and treating me well. And then when they did, I could, you know, return that as well, because I think that's where we get into this real martyrdom, you know, this victim's role of like, I do everything for everybody else, and I do this and I do that and whatever, and nobody ever does anything for me, and how could I possibly have time to love myself because I'm constantly giving all this love and attention to everybody else? Well, I think that's a time that you probably need to reevaluate your actions. You know what I mean? I do. Like, I think like if we're constantly giving to other people that aren't appreciative of it, you know, I think that's the time that you need to like wake up. I mean, even for parents, you know, if you're doing all the chores around the house and you have 4 kids and you're making dinner and you're picking up after everybody and you're driving around everybody and everybody, like, you need to maybe look at say, hey, listen, okay, we're going to start multitasking around here. Everybody can have some chores. You know, mom or dad, we're not the only ones that are going to do everything in this house, or grandma, grandpa, or aunt and uncle, or whoever, okay? We're all going to multitask. We're going to all love one another and care about each other, right? And I think that we seek love from people in weird ways. Like, an action equals love sometimes. Like, oh, well, you never bring me flowers. You know, well, I never knew that you wanted flowers, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, we have to tell people what our love language is and what that means to us. So maybe people saying, hey, you know what, mom or dad or husband or wife or friend, you know, like, I'm going to do something special for you today because you deserve it. Because you're a lovable human being. You know, you deserve to be loved. And you know, I love that term. You don't have to be a spiritual religious person, but I like the term child of God. I don't know. I just think it sounds, you know, like we all are, and we all deserve to be loved. It took me so long to figure that out, you know? I could tell you 100 different reasons why I wasn't deserving to be loved. No. And if somebody said something really nice to me, it was prickly. I didn't want to hear it. I was resistant to it, you know? And I remember my mom, she gave me the Life's Little Instruction books, and I remember it was on like page 80 or something. It was like, the rule was, a simple thank you is all that is necessary. And I remember thinking, you know, when I read that, like, when people gave me compliments, instead of saying, no, like, no, like, you know, because I would push it away, the compliments, right? Just to say thank you. And allow myself to absorb that. That was so hard, you know? To allow myself to absorb the compliment and take it in and just say, you know what? Maybe I'm not that bad after all. Maybe I do deserve to be loved. Maybe I am a lovable human being, you know? And it changed the whole way that I looked at the world. And it changed the way that I was able to see other people. And I was able to see the world as not such a cruel place, but as a lovable universe. So anyway, let me know what you think about that meditation in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.